Over the last several days and even weeks, the South Carolina Gamecocks have been one of the more talked about teams in college football, and that's pretty crazy because coming into this season, the Gamecocks didn't have high expectations, a lot of people didn't see any hype in them, and they didn't think they were going to do much. However, the Gamecocks are proving a lot of people wrong. And for the SEC over the past couple years, this isn't anything new for the most part. If you're not a team like Alabama or Georgia or LSU or even teams like Tennessee, Ole Miss, and Texas A&M, people really don't have high expectations for you or expect you to do much. But for South Carolina, they clearly don't want to be a part of that norm, as this year they have won 6 straight games and they have a 9-3 record, and they have also beaten 4 ranked teams this year, that being Texas A&M, Vanderbilt, Missouri in a thriller, and also Clemson in a thriller. Shane Beamer has faced some scrutiny over the past couple years from the South Carolina fan base, but it looks like he is finally building something special with that team, and he's even won Coach of the Year at the time of making this video. One player on that team that's getting a lot more attention and a lot more media recognition is their redshirt freshman quarterback, LaNorris Sellers. After that game against Alabama, Sellers faced a lot of criticism and scrutiny from a lot of people. However, ever since that game, he's been so much improved and a lot more dialed in. In today's video, we'll look at LaNorris Sellers and how he got to this point and why he could be the next big thing in South Carolina. Before I go any further though, I'm not going to ask you guys to subscribe to my channel, but hopefully by the end of this video, I've earned a subscription and a like for this video. But anyways, let's keep going. So coming out of South Florence High School in Florence, South Carolina, LaNorris Sellers was a 3-star recruit. According to 24/7 Sports, he was the 34th best quarterback in the nation and the 7th best player in the state of South Carolina. Originally, LaNorris Sellers had actually committed to the University of Virginia. However, after head coach Bronco Mendenhall would resign, and also Robert Dene and Jason Beck would accept positions at Syracuse, he would open his recruitment back up. He would then decide to commit to the University of Syracuse. However, on National Signing Day, LaNorris Sellers would obviously flip to the University of South Carolina. Now for Syracuse fans, they probably were shocked by this, as just a couple days before this was announced, LaNorris Sellers had told Syracuse.com that he would still be signing with Syracuse due to the relationship with the assistant head coaches. Now Florence is a pretty easy drive from Columbia, South Carolina, and he wanted to stay in state and play close to home. Citing the ability to easily visit his family and friends is a major factor, along with his strong connection to new South Carolina offensive coordinator Dow Logans, who was a key piece to him flipping to South Carolina. Development was also another key factor here. Going to South Carolina, they wouldn't throw him to the Lions right away, and instead he would sit behind Spencer Rattler for at least 1 year while getting the chance to be the starter in his sophomore year. But per usual, this success didn't come out of nowhere, and LaNorris obviously had to grind for it. As a sophomore, LaNorris Sellers threw for over 1,000 yards, 12 touchdowns, and also rushed for 618 yards and 13 touchdowns. However, in his junior year, South Florence got off to a pretty hot start, and the Bruins are looking good. Unfortunately, later on in the season, LaNorris Sellers will break a bone in his arm, and he will miss the rest of the season. This put a huge damper on LaNorris Sellers' season, and this also put a huge damper on South Florence's season, where they look like one of the best teams in the state. However, in 2022, South Florence will put themselves on the map once again, having one of the best offense in the state of South Carolina and one of the best offense in the state of South Carolina, led by LaNorris Sellers. That season, he threw for 2,948 yards, 45 touchdowns, and just 2 interceptions. He also ran for 1,338 yards and 17 touchdowns, leading the Bruins to a 4A state championship when he knocked off Northwestern 57-30. Head coach Marlin has consistently praised LaNorris for his work ethic, and after the game, he said, "It's hard to put into words what that dude can do, because he can do everything. He fought his tail off tonight. It was tough sledding down there. Northwestern was good on defense, and he took what they gave him. He was patient, and he never got down. He's a great player and the best player in the state." As a true freshman in 2023, LaNorris Sellers primarily only come in during garbage time, as Spencer Rattler was the starter. He went 4 for 4 for 86 yards and 2 touchdowns, and also had 5 carries of 51 yards and 1 touchdown. His first career start for South Carolina wouldn't come until 2024 against Old Dominion in the first game of the season, where he went 10 for 23 for 114 yards and 0 touchdowns through the air. He would, however, have 22 carries, 68 yards, and 1 touchdown, leading South Carolina to a 23-19 victory over Old Dominion. He would, however, have a bounce-back game against Kentucky, though, where he went 10 for 14 for 166 yards and 2 touchdowns. The first big test of the season for LaNorris, and really his career, would come against number 16 LSU at the time, where in that game he went 9 for 16 for 113 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 1 interception. He would, however, have 10 carries for 88 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground, including a big 75-yard touchdown as well. However, in that game, LaNorris Sellers suffered an ankle injury that would put him out for the rest of the game. He would have another big test against number 12 Ole Miss, and in that game, he went 20 for 32 for 162 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 1 interception, losing that game 27-3. The biggest test of the season, though, would come against number 7 Alabama, where in this game, he went 23 for 31 for 238 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Unfortunately, though, that one game came against the fourth quarter in the final seconds of the game, and that would cause South Carolina to lose. Overall, he didn't play bad in this game, but that one interception overshadowed anything he did. However, since that game, he has brought off 6 straight wins, including a win over number 10 Texas A&M, where he went 13 for 27 for 244 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also had 15 carries for 106 yards and 1 touchdown on the ground as well. His best game as a passer, though, would come against number 23 Missouri, where in this game, he led South Carolina all the way down the field for a game-winning drive. And in this game, he went 21 for 30 for 353 yards, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception, leading South Carolina to a 34-30 victory. His statement game, however, would come against number 12 Clemson, where in this game, he wasn't much of a threat as a passer, and that's okay, because he was a threat as a runner. He had 16 carries for 166 yards and 2 touchdowns, leading South Carolina down the field for a game-winning drive, beating number 12 Clemson in the Palmetto Bowl 17-14. According to Pro Football Focus, Sellers had 18 broken tackles in this game and a total of 176 yards to the contact. Now, the thing that makes LaNorris Sellers so great as a player and so intriguing as a prospect is his overall frame and his skills that come along with that. At 6'5", 243 pounds, LaNorris Sellers is one of the bigger quarterbacks in college football, and even for NFL standards, that's also pretty big as well. Cam Newton was 6'5", 244 pounds, and with his weight, it also came with a lot of good athleticism that a lot of quarterbacks his size simply don't have. And for LaNorris Sellers in college football, he fits that bill pretty perfectly. And here's what teams try to do when they're playing LaNorris. They'll try to blitz him, sending all the defenders at him to basically overwhelm him. And on this play right here against Clemson, we clearly see how 5 defenders are being sent at him, and this blitz is obviously not going to work. Defenders are coming at him pretty heavily. He's going to break 1 sack. He breaks another sack. He then evades multiple defenders and gets all the way downfield for a huge 38-yard run. Blitzing against a mobile quarterback is always going to be tricky because here's the thing. If that mobile quarterback is known for being athletic and can break out of tackles, things like this are going to happen. And then you run the result of possibly blitzing him, sending all your defenders at him, leading a wide open touchdown pass. Now we saw it on this play right here versus Missouri. Right here, Missouri's going to send their forefront. It looked like originally that's all they were going to send. But then, as the ball is snapped, we're going to see number 12 hop off Nick Harbor for the defensive back blitz to go after LaNorris. They want him to force a throw or possibly even sack him. But this is a bad decision for one reason. Number one, we all know LaNorris can possibly escape this sack or possibly cut through the middle and, make a play there. But he decides to make the smart decision here. Nick Harbor's already wide open. That safety can't match Harbor's speed. So LaNorris Sellers easily is able to throw a touchdown pass wide open. And right here is just going to be an example of that zip he has on some of his throws. On this play right here, Missouri is going to blitz once again. They're going to send, looks like 5, even 6 guys at LaNorris. LaNorris has to stay calm under pressure here. There's a guy coming in right after him, but he finds Nick Harbor wide open pretty much for a touchdown. A pretty good pass, but also good pocket press by LaNorris in order to make that throw. Now here's once again where blitzing simply does not work against LaNorris. Right here is going to be a 6-man rush against LaNorris. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 guys going after LaNorris because they know he's a threat as a runner and they're trying to overwhelm him at all costs. Right here, the ball is going to be snapped. Number 15 actually, get his hands on LaNorris, but he just fights off this sack, escapes, improvises once again, one of his best skills, and he easily makes that pass pretty easily like it was nothing. And that's one of his better skills. He doesn't get overwhelmed. He doesn't, throw the ball away. He easily finds a wide open man down the field for an easy first down. And then on this play right here, he has a defender right in his face who could possibly make a play on this ball as well. However, he managed to throw it high enough to the point where only he can get his tight end to get it. So in conclusion, LaNorris Sellers has pretty much everything he needs to become a star quarterback in college football. I think the one thing you want him to work on more is his passing, but even then his passing is not terrible by any means whatsoever. It's not bad at all, but every player needs to work on something. No player is great at everything. Going into his redshirt sophomore year, there's going to be a lot more eyes on LaNorris, as a lot more teams are going to be looking towards the future for NFL teams in the quarterback position, and more eyes are definitely going to be on him. He has the athleticism and all the tools necessary to become the next best quarterback for the South Carolina Gamecocks. All he needs to do is put it together, and with the way he's been playing lately, that shouldn't be hard. With that really special athleticism that comes with having a frame like that, he's going to be a really special quarterback one day in my opinion. And while it's too early, I think LaNorris has to be an early candidate for the 2025 Heisman Award. But you guys feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below about this video and about LaNorris. Me personally, I've wanted to do this video for a while now, the last couple weeks. And after that Clemson game, I figured I finally had to do it. And I'm kind of biased too, because here's the thing. I'm from Florence. I graduated from South Florence. As a matter of fact, the same class as LaNorris in 2023. So, this is something I kind of had to do. For Florence, we really don't get a lot of guys that come out of the city and get media attention like this. So this is pretty inspiring and pretty good for the city, kind of putting us on the map in a way. So the last thing I can say is, shout out to LaNorris. Keep making Florence proud and just keep balling. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to my channel and tap the bell icon for future football content. And follow my social medias down below in the description. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. All that's down below in the description. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.